Hey there, how are you? Welcome to the How to End Bad Eating Habits webinar. So I am Cynthia Ray. I'm going to be your coach for today, and I'm super excited to share this information with you today about how to break bad eating habits this new year, and just going to walk you through a bunch of different steps and understanding. I just want you to leave today with a really great understanding of what exactly you can do to break some of those bad eating habits when it comes to specifically emotional eating or binge eating. So we're going to break through all of that. This class is interactive. So if you are on this live, I have a chat box. I'll show you that in just a minute, set up for our group. If you can see it on the right hand of your screen, it should be up there. There's a chat box. So when I have a question for you, feel free to respond in the chat box, and we'll go from there. So if you are on right now, I don't know if anybody is yet, so I'm just going to wait a minute here, but I'm going to share with you my screen just a second, and let's dive in. Okay. Here we go. All right, I'm going to see if I can take myself off here. Maybe not. All right. One sec. Okay, so welcome to our webinar on how to end bad eating habits. Again, I'm Cynthia Ray. I'm going to be your coach for today. And I just want to welcome you all. There's going to be a chat box available if you see it. Let me see if I get the chat box going. There it is, a chat box there on the right-hand corner. And you're going to be able to know exactly where to put your comments. So this is going to be an interactive group today. So make sure that you're muted when you come in to our group. So I'm going to ask some questions of you, and make sure to use that chat box to interact, if you're here live. So anyway, if you know of somebody who couldn't be here live today, this is going to be recorded and I can send them the replay. Or if you would like the replay yourself, you can also get access to it. So you'll have lifetime access to watching this class. If you register in the chat box here at the top, it says replay registration. If you want a recorded replay sent to you via email, just click on this top link here. It says replay registration, and you'll get all the information sent to you in your inbox. So anyhow, all right, I'm going to bring my other laptop down here so I can share my notes with you. Let me see if I can make this work better. I have two computers going here. Okay, so let's just start out with some breathing exercises. I really like to start all of my classes with a little bit of a breathing exercise. So I'm actually, let's see if I can take off my video. There we go, that's better. Okay, so I'm going to do a little breathing exercise with you first before we get started. So if you're sitting, go ahead and put your feet down on the floor and hands on your lap. And just let your body relax into the chair. Kind of let your legs sink into the seat, feet into the ground. Let your jaw relax. Let your eyes relax. And just kind of feel your body melt into the seat. So as you sit there, I'm going to have you take a deep breath. Inhale through your nose and exhale out of your mouth. And again, take a deep breath, inhale and exhale. And one more time, deep breath, inhale all the way up. Hold it for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3, and exhale. Let your body just kind of melt down into your seat. Roll your shoulders around a little bit. Now wiggle your hips and thighs in your chair a little bit. If you want to roll your head around, kind of stretching out your neck, and switch directions so they go the opposite way. Roll all the way around and back up. And let's take one more deep breath. Inhale through your nose. Hold it. And exhale. Again, let your body melt into your seat, feet into the floor, hands into your thighs, letting those shoulders drop down. And begin to breathe normally. And slowly open up your eyes. There you go. All right, let me make sure this is recording. Okay, good. All right, so anyway, welcome. I skipped ahead a little bit. Welcome to our workshop for today. So again, my name is Cynthia Ray. I'm going to be your coach for this workshop. We'll be together for about an hour and a half today. So if you are driving, doing laundry, cooking dinner, folding laundry, whatever you're doing, I would invite you to actually turn everything off that is operating in the background, including your email or social media platforms, whatever you might be doing. Turn off or silence your cell phone, close your door, and give yourself this time to relax and discover some new strategies for managing your eating habits during this season. So I also have a handout packet that you might have gotten when you registered with some additional information that you can use after our session together. So it's a little packet there with some journaling notes and recording food and food habits notes there. So if you look on our chat box where it says here at the very bottom, it says workbook form. That workbook form there, if you click on that, you'll be able to download the worksheet or workbook that goes with this class. It doesn't go along with what I'm saying, but you can use it for after the class as a way to implement some of the things that you learned today. All right, let's dive in. Oh, before we move on, let's see who is online watching right now, and let me know where you're coming from. Let me know where you are, your location, and let's see who's on the call today. All right. So let's see. We have, see if I can get anybody in here. Okay. So if you're on the call, go ahead and type in the chat box if you see it down here in the right-hand corner, where you're from, where you're calling from, and where you're watching from. And there's a few of you on the call right now. Hopefully you can see that chat box down there. All right. So let me move on to my next slide. There we go. All right, so let's go ahead and dive in. So do you ever find yourself, hey, Jill from Post Falls. Okay, do you ever find yourself, hey, Chrissy from Rathdrum, welcome back. This is gonna be a similar seminar to what we did, but a little bit different, so welcome back. All right, so do you ever go straight to the kitchen and just start eating when you're feeling stressed or upset? Or do you find yourself eating when you're stressed or uncomfortable, or maybe sometimes find yourself eating when it's as a distraction, or maybe you're uncomfortable? If so, you'll really appreciate what is going to be discussed today. Do you ever not want to eat or sleep so you can get more stuff done? And this is actually me. Then end up too hungry and too tired and end up overeating? Do you ever start eating even when you aren't hungry, but think that will help you feel better emotionally, which is actually super common? Do you ever start a new wellness plan or program feeling so motivated and inspired, thinking that this one is the one, but falling off and self-sabotaging a few weeks or months in? Let's skip ahead here. If you answered yes to any of these things, the good news is that you are in the right place. If you're in the right place, if you want to learn how to be your best this new year, you're in the right place if you want to learn new ways to cope with your emotions using non-food techniques. And the techniques I'm going to teach you today are actually the techniques and strategies that I use with my clients and groups. And it's been completely amazing over the past 20 years to see the progress that these men and women have made by using and following these simple tips I'm going to share with you today. Um, you're in the right place if you want to learn how to take control of daily stress and stay healthy. So a lot of what we're going to talk about today is the connection between emotions and food, specifically stress and anxiety. You're in the right place if you want to feel in control of your wellness goals for this new year, rather than feeling disappointed about failed attempts, as maybe you may have been in years past. So this is going to be, we're going to be here for a little while together till about 6:30 p.m., an hour and a half. And if you hang out with me for the whole time, I'm going to give you a little special bonus gift. I have a special guide called Overcome Overeating, a how-to guide, which will pretty much outline a lot of the things we're going to talk about today and give you a lot of additional information that you can leave with. So hang out with me and I will give that to you at the end. Okay, so what you will learn. You will learn the difference between emotional eating and normal eating. So it's super important to clarify where or how you may be classifying yourself and others in your life as far as what type of eater you are. We have to know that first. Once you know where you fall, it's so much easier to resolve your behaviors once you know where you're starting. You also learn common triggers that lead to emotional and stress eating and emotional not eating. You're also going to learn how to recognize what causes you to be an emotional eater. Emotional eating can happen at varying times or frequencies. It doesn't mean that every time you have a strong emotion that you eat, but it can vary from person to person. It can be frequently, it can be infrequently. It just depends on your style. You also learn what mindful eating is and what intentional eating is. You also learn solutions for overcoming emotional eating and self-sabotage this new year. So I'm super excited to share with you the same strategies I have used with my clients in the past. And they've really been incredibly effective in freeing people up and giving them a feeling of self-control and peace with food. So when it comes down to it, it's really not about controlling food. It's really about surrendering to it and gaining peace with it. So a lot of times people say, oh, let's, control your eating or control your habits, control your lifestyle. But control actually causes more stress. So the idea is to create peace with food and just surrender the stress around food. Okay. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about me. So like I said before, I'm Cynthia Ray. I'm a registered dietitian and fitness specialist. And I specialize currently in teaching women and some men how to enjoy food, fall in love with fitness, and trust their bodies through an intuitive approach to wellness and weight loss. I'm the founder of Well Within Nutrition for the past 20 years. I'm the creator of the Well Within Lifestyle Academy, which is an online wellness course. I'm also in private practice working with clients one-on-one, and I also teach virtual fitness and nutrition accountability groups. And I am super excited to announce the 1-year anniversary of the completion of my 9-module online wellness academy program called the Well Within Lifestyle Academy. And I created this program to help women live out a lifestyle of wellness longevity at their own convenience. So it's a class that you can do online on your own time, at your own pace, so that you can get the results that you need. In my private practice in the past, I used to work with eating disorders. And I found that the same treatment and tactics that I use with those particular clients, I was also using for men, women, and children to make peace with food, which is interesting. I taught them the same tactics. Obviously, it's not the same level of eating issues, but it turned out to be foundationally very similar. I taught them how to move away from diets and the diet mindset and to get back to normal eating and intuitive or mindful movement and exercise, which I'll teach you a little bit about today. Getting back to our natural tendencies and feeling alive and free and energized with a transformed physique and view on life is my goal with my clients. So I just want to let you know with all of this information that you are in good hands today, and I'm really excited to share this information with you this evening. All right, let's do this. All right, let's talk about normal eating. So before we dive into normal eating, if you would, we're going to do an interactive uh, mindful eating exercise. And for this mindful eating exercise, you're going to need either a raisin, a piece of chocolate, or maybe like a cracker, something small that you can grab, because we're going to need a little piece of food, either cracker, small piece of dark chocolate, or a raisin for the mindful eating exercise we're going to do in just a little bit. So I'm going to pause for a minute here, and I'm going to allow you to go grab that. Hopefully you're in your kitchen or in your house near your kitchen where you can go grab a quick snack. So if you could go grab that real quick, go do that, and I will give you about 30 seconds, 45 seconds to go grab that and come on back. And in the chat box, when you come back, put in, I'm back and ready. Okay, so let me know that you're back. All right, go for it. Go grab your snack. Thanks, Chrissy. Thanks for being ready. Anybody else ready? Hey, Jeanette, how are you? I see Jeanette from Ventura. I love seeing all these locations coming in. So yeah, so grab your snack, and when you're ready, put in the chat box, I'm ready with your snack. Okay. All right, you ready, Jill? Awesome. Make sure to mute yourselves if you guys aren't muted. I know sometimes Zoom will, it'll drop off the muting, so make sure you mute yourselves. Okay, Jeanette, are you almost ready? Okay, all right, let's get started. So let's dive into what normal eating is first. So I especially love this definition of normal eating by Ellen Satter. Ellen Satter happens to be a dietitian and a social worker, and she's been working in this industry for years and has really been influential in this movement of intuitive and mindful eating. And I love the way she defines what normal eating is. A lot of times we don't even think about what is normal eating because in our culture, it's more of a diet culture and we ignore normal eating. So my goal is to help you get back to becoming a normal eater. All right, so let's talk about what it exactly looks like first. And as I read through it, you might notice or think of somebody in the back of your mind who actually fits this normal eating definition. It may have been you when you were younger, or one of your kids, or your spouse, or a friend who really is a normal eater. Okay, so what is normal eating? Written by Ellen Satter, 1983. All right, normal eating. Normal eating is going to the table hungry and eating until you're satisfied. It's being able to choose food you enjoy and eat it and truly get enough of it, not just stop eating because you think you should. Normal eating is being able to give some thought to your food selection so you get nutritious food, but not being so wary and restrictive that you miss out on enjoyable food. Normal eating is giving yourself permission to eat sometimes because you're happy, sad, or bored, or just because it feels good. Normal eating is mostly 3 meals a day, or 4 or 5, or it can just be choosing to munch along the way. It's leaving some cookies on the plate because you know you can have some again tomorrow, or it's eating more now because they taste so wonderful. Normal eating can be overeating at times, feeling stuffed and uncomfortable, and it can also be undereating at times, wishing you had more. Normal eating is trusting your body to make up for your mistakes in eating. Normal eating takes up some of your time and attention, but it keeps its place as only one important area of your life. In short, normal eating is flexible. It varies in response to your hunger, your schedule, your proximity to food, and your feelings. So, can you think of anyone? You don't have to say the person's name in the chat box, but can you maybe say yes if you know of somebody who you can identify as a normal eater according to this definition, maybe yourself or a friend or you when you were younger. Um, yeah, so let me know. Is there anybody in your life, yes or no, who you can identify as a normal eater? Okay, so Jill says yes. I know, me too. I think about myself when I was younger, how I was definitely a normal eater. Um, and I just pretty much ate when I felt hungry, stopped when I was satisfied, ate what sounded good, and moved on with my life. And my mom used to get frustrated because she called me a little bird because I would always be, in and out of the fridge grabbing things. So that was my normal eating style. So Chrissy says, I have a friend who I think is a normal eater. Yeah, I know. Sometimes we're not exactly sure, um, but it's nice. It's refreshing to know somebody who is because they don't really have an off relationship with food. All right, so let's go ahead and move on. All right, so let's talk about emotional and binge eating. So at this point, I'm going to talk more specifically about these particular conditions. So emotional eating is outside of normal eating. So those two things are, like it says here, emotional and binge eating. So this is not normal eating. These two are different from each other. People have ways of handling and managing their feelings and behavior when they're depressed, stressed, or upset about something. So some of the common triggers for emotional and binge eating are being sad, stressed, or upset about something. The thing is that the person needs to address the emotional needs directly, right? Or find other ways to cope with stress instead of using food. So we're going to talk specifically about that. So emotional and binge eating. In this particular type of behavior, food fills an emotional void for some people. And some people choose to turn to food as a way of coping with stress in their life. All right, what is emotional eating? So, emotional eating is finding comfort in food when you're upset or sad or having negative or strong positive feelings about something in your life or associate eating with life events. So, for example, isn't necessarily always negative emotions like sadness or anxiety or boredom or what have you. It can also be really strong positive emotions. I remember I had a client years ago. I was treating her for anorexia and bulimia. She was probably 16 or 17 at the time. And I remember one day she came into my office. She was really excited because she just had finally broken up with her boyfriend that she's been wanting to break up with for some time now, and she couldn't wait to live her life again and hang out with her girlfriends like she used to and all this stuff. So after our session, I remember her leaving my office, and her mom was with her at the door, and she told her mom, "Oh, mom, I can't wait. I'm so excited. I have to celebrate. I feel so good. I feel so free. Let's go get some frozen yogurt." So as she mentioned that, I asked her, I said, "Are you actually hungry? Are you physically hungry?" And she said, "No, not really. I just really want to celebrate. I'm excited." I'm like, "How about this? Since we've been practicing mindful eating, how about you wait till you're hungry and then go grab some yogurt and celebrate?" So for her, it was a lot of excitement that got her wanting to eat something. Um, and that's common too. So sometimes we think only about emotional eating as a negative emotion, going for food, but it could be a really strong positive thing too. All right. So let me go on. So emotional eating. Okay, emotional eating often leads to feelings of guilt or shame afterwards, including the feeling that you began with. So this is the tricky part. So many times people will eat to calm or soothe emotions, but as we know, it doesn't work long term, right? So it might help in the moment. You might feel better because it actually has a positive effect on brain chemistry to make you feel more relaxed or calm or soothed. But the thing is, the person never actually feels better ultimately, right? They end up leaving that, emotional eating moment feeling more full than they did and just feeling really uncomfortable. Not only feeling really uncomfortable, but now they still have the negative, strong emotions that they had before they started eating. So it's kind of a double whammy on that one. Emotional eating can also lead to cycles of emotional eating behavior. So a little term I like to use, it's actually used in research, it's called maladaptive coping strategies. So what happens is you feel bad emotionally or really good, and then you eat. And then you end up feeling guilty, shame, stress, and anxiety. And then the cycle continues. And then those strong emotions can lead to other cycles of eating problems like binge eating and chronic emotional eating, and using food as a coping mechanism in life instead of actually going to the feeling, addressing it, and learning how to deal with it and handle it. So emotional eating, it also affects men and women. And a lot of times we think about, just women mainly eating emotionally, like we see that in media and TV and things like that. But it also affects men, which I'm sure you may know too. But they really in research haven't figured out exactly why it may affect women more than men, which it does. And research is saying that maybe because women hold on to emotions more than men do. Um, or maybe they're just, I don't know, just doing it more often because they haven't learned the strategies yet to cope. So I'm not exactly sure, but that's the guesses so far. All right, so what is binge eating? So binge eating is actually defined as eating large amounts of food in a short amount of time. And then it also leads to feeling guilty or sad afterward. So binge eating is different than emotional eating because it's actually considered a medical condition. So when you are struggling with binge eating, it usually happens on a regular basis for at least 6 months to a year, and the emotions that come with it. So usually somebody will have, things like depression or anxiety, or have some kind of trauma in their life, chronic fear, things like that, which will actually be the underlying factor for why somebody would be engaging in binge eating behavior. So, like it says here, it happens to be the most common eating problem in the United States, right? So, other eating problems would be anorexia and bulimia, or bulimorexia, which is a combination of anorexic and bulimic behavior. So, this particular one, binge eating, is the most common in the US, and it seems to be almost the most acceptable because somebody who's overweight, it's not uncommon. But when you see somebody who's, anorexic skinny, or, really struggling with bulimia, it seems really out there and kind of scary. But binge eating probably is most common because it's almost most acceptable. At least that's my opinion, what I've seen in my practice. All right, so triggers that lead to emotional and binge eating for both of these, emotional and binge eating. So a lot of times people have issues with work, relationship issues, financial stress. They're lacking feelings of self-love, self-acceptance. They're really experiencing a lot of fear, stress, anxiety in their life. And just knowing this, the reason why people eat when they're feeling these things is because it serves as a way to numb feelings and emotions. And it actually works to change the brain chemistry. So food is actually considered a drug. It gives feelings of pleasure, numbing the pain, but temporarily. So usually I like this because I've been able to identify in research, I've seen this, to identify certain foods that somebody chooses to eat can actually tell you what emotion they're feeling. So for example, usually carbs are like comfort type foods, and carby, creamy, warm type foods, chewy foods provide a feeling of like getting a warm hug or reassurance or feeling calmer. And then on the other end, crunchy foods release calming chemicals to relax, and are usually are reached for when you're feeling stressed or angry. So one of the examples I like to think of, or that I thought of, is I don't know if you ever really watch basketball at all. But when I watch basketball games, professional basketball games, I'll see the coach on the sidelines with a gum in his mouth, his or her mouth, like chewing and chewing gum. And I'm realizing the reason why they're doing that is because it actually helps to calm nerves a little bit. I know they're usually excitable and really into the game. So next time you watch a basketball game, notice if you see the coach chewing gum rapidly to kind of feel calm and relaxed. So if you feel like you are going for foods when you're emotionally eating, not eating when you're hungry, but when you're eating emotionally, if you're going for something that's creamy and soothing and comforting and soft, it's usually because you want comfort in some way, reassurance or calm or a warm hug. And then if you want something crunchy and salty, it's usually you're wanting, you maybe experiencing anger or frustration or even boredom. A lot of times people will eat crunchy foods out of boredom, and boredom sometimes can be associated with anger as well, which is interesting. So, all right. So can any of you guys associate with some of these things or kind of feel like some of this information is something that you can relate to? So comment in the chat box if you feel like you can relate to some of these things, or maybe you know somebody in your life um, who can relate to some of these things. Let me know in the chat box. I know it's common. For me, if I'm eating something emotionally, it's more of like a mouth thing. Like I want a change of flavor in my mouth or change of taste. So even if I've eaten a meal and I want something else to eat, but I'm not really hungry, usually it's because it's something called food monotony, where I feel like I just want different taste in my mouth. So I'll maybe grab a piece of dark chocolate or maybe have a cup of coffee or brush my teeth or chew some gum. So I can change the flavor in my mouth because I'm not necessarily hungry or emotional. I just need something else in my mouth to taste. So Belinda says, yeah. So at times when she feels stressed, she may be feeling like she wants to grab something to eat. Or Chrissy says, yeah, she can definitely relate to this. So this is really common. You guys aren't the only ones, and you don't have to feel like an oddball if you are. So yeah, so Chrissy says she's an emotional eater, and which is common. So I'm glad you guys are here to get this information today. All right, so let's go on to the next slide. So triggers that lead to emotional and binge eating. By the way, thank you for sharing. I really appreciate it. I know this can be kind of vulnerable, but I appreciate you sharing and making other people feel comfortable. All right, so triggers that lead to emotional and binge eating. So some of these triggers, which are common, which is boredom or boredom eating. And like I said, boredom can actually be tagged as anger. Having a bad day, comfort eating, and then hormonal changes also can lead to cravings. And then sometimes we may even want to give ourselves an affirmation, thinking, oh, I deserve this. I work hard today, so I deserve a special treat or whatever. And sometimes, people can do this not with just food, but with alcohol, or, I'll have a drink, I deserve it. I need something to relax, so I'll have a drink, or I'll treat myself shopping, or what else do people do? People are smoking, they might grab a cigarette to feel relaxed or calm, or, grab a piece of chocolate or an ice cream or special treat to really feel like they can treat themselves for accomplishing something big. But that isn't always necessary. We can do things to treat ourselves without food or doing something that's more destructive. So in the chat box, please comment with some things that you feel would be a good idea for people to do to treat themselves or reward themselves that is a non-food treat. What have you done? What have you done maybe in the past to treat yourself when you did something big or accomplished something or wanted to relax? What's something that you say you could do? So I had an example, I can't think of it now, but I know it's super common, right? To just feel like, actually, I have a friend who was telling me a while back that she would just come, she'd have a busy day at work and with her kids. And once her kids all got into bed, she couldn't wait each night to really feel like she can breathe and take a breath and just relax and calm herself down. So kids were in bed. It was just totally her time. Zimmer, she would tell me she would, have a ritual of this. So each night she would sit on her couch and she would grab a special sweet treat, like a cupcake or a piece of cake and some coffee, and just turn on a show and numb out and enjoy some food. So, And I explained to her, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And I think what happened is her saying that out loud really made her realize that, oh my goodness, do I really need food? Because she didn't really understand why she was putting weight on. As we talked about it, she started to realize, oh my goodness, I'm eating when I'm not hungry regularly to treat myself, but that could be a contributor to putting on the weight. So, which is kind of interesting. So Jeanette says, I sometimes drive to the beach and just look at the ocean, or I put music on and dance. That's awesome. I love that. We were just in California, Jeanette, and we couldn't get enough of Ventura Beach. My husband and I were there walking at least for a few days in a row and soaking up the sun. And it was so calming and so relaxing. We loved it. So, so Chrissy says that it sounds like a lot like her. So yeah, so that's common. And actually other moms too that I've talked to over the years, just, friends, wine is another thing that they really enjoyed, but when they would wake up in the morning, they felt horrible because of the wine they drank the night before to kind of feel like, oh, it's me time. And actually that particular mom I'm talking about, she actually did one of my challenge groups later on, and she ended up trading out her wine for exercise. So when her kids went to bed, she put in her DVD or press play on her Beachbody on Demand and do her workout. And she felt so much better. It was awesome. Not only that, she was getting in really good shape. Her transformation was amazing. I wish I had pictures to show you. Her transformation was amazing. And she felt really good. She would got rid of the wine and had some once in a while and did her workouts instead. So that's another really good way to trade out emotional eating for healthier habits. So, all right. Thank you for sharing, everybody. Oh, so some triggers that lead to emotional and binge eating. So like I said, so binge eating specifically, not emotional eating. Binge eating is associated with mental health conditions like chronic sadness and anxiety. So if you feel like either you yourself or somebody personally who really is struggling with binge eating, and it's actually considered binge eating disorder, BED, let me know. This is actually my specialty area. I specialize in eating disordered behavior. So I am here to help. I'm recovered myself, and I've been working with men and women and children for about 20 years now and specialize in this area. So if you need help, if you know somebody needs help, please feel free to reach out to me and let me know, and I'm happy to help or give you some advice or tips or some direction on where to go to get help. So just so you know that. So some triggers, again, that lead to emotional and binge eating it's really important to understand your triggers to help anticipate binges before they occur. That is absolutely key. If you know what's going on emotionally or what kinds of things trigger you to binge eat or emotionally eat, then you will have so much more success with eliminating emotional and binge eating. And you also want to, you can begin doing this by just keeping a food diary. So in the corner here, if you can see it in the chat box, move the chat box out of the way. In the corner here, you can see a little graphic I have of, this is actually a page taken out of the guide that I have for you. So if you look at the top of the chat box, you can download the workbook that comes with this course. So this is a page from that workbook. So it says, for example, you can record your food, and then also with your food, one of the other sheets in that workbook also includes emotions. So what emotions you were feeling at that time. And then once you start identifying your emotions when you're not non-hunger eating or binge or emotional eating, and you identify those emotions, you'll know in advance, after you write it down, what's going on, and you can use that. So when you're feeling those feelings or emotions coming up, you'll know what to do. After this class, I'll teach you exactly what to do, but knowing in advance what to do is so key to your success. All right. Oh, hang on, let me check messages here. Belinda, Donnie is having problems joining the meeting. Oh, I'm not sure why. Belinda, could you share with her the link for this meeting if you have a moment? I'd really appreciate that. So hopefully she can join us. Thank you. All right, so how to recognize if you're a binge or emotional eater. So another thing you can do is to pay attention to how and when your eating starts. So another good idea too is to pay attention to how you feel after eating. and identify physical hunger and fullness and knowing when you're satisfied. So paying attention to how and when your eating starts and what emotions you're feeling, how hungry you are, how hungry or full you are when you begin eating. Just really paying attention and being mindful of those things is key in eliminating some of those behaviors. All right, so let's talk about emotional versus physical hunger more specifically. So the thing is, it really is difficult to distinguish the difference between emotional and physical hunger. All right, chat box time. So what do you think? Do you think do you think it's easy for you personally? Do you think it's hard? Are you not really sure the difference yet? But I don't know. What do you think? Is it hard or easy to identify for yourself between emotional hunger and physical hunger sometimes? So let me know in the chat box. Um, I know for many it's challenging, but not for everybody. Usually, people who are normal eaters, like I described earlier, don't really have a difficult time identifying that. But yeah, let me know what you think. Is for you, is identifying emotional hunger versus physical hunger a challenge? Is it easy? Let me know what you think. Okay. All right, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so here it is. This is how to recognize if you know the difference between emotional or binge eating. Oh, sorry, emotional hunger or binge eating. Actually, this is not the right topic up there. Okay, so I'm going to teach you how to differentiate between emotional hunger and physical hunger. So these are the characteristics of emotional hunger. This is how you know. So emotional hunger. Emotional hunger comes on about fast or suddenly. You only crave certain foods and you binge on food but don't feel full. You also feel guilt or shameful after eating when eating emotionally. So if you binge on food but don't feel full, anybody guess why that is? So why would somebody binge on food but not feel full? So I'm going to tell you. So if you're binging on food but you don't feel full, it's because the emotions that you're trying to fill with food won't be satisfied with food, right? So it's just like saying, okay, I have a toothache, so I'm going to go to the orthopedic surgeon, right? So it's the wrong solution for the problem. So you're never going to get satisfied if you are not going to the right solution, right? All right, so physical hunger. So physical hunger develops slowly over a period of time, right? We know that, like that's pretty common for us, right? You desire a lot of different foods and you get a feeling, let me move my chat box, you get a feeling of being full and in turn stop eating. That makes sense, right? You don't have negative feelings after eating, but you feel content and nurtured, right? So I'm sure a lot of you guys can identify with those. I have one of the examples I could think of when it comes to emotional eating and hunger comes about fast or suddenly. And I remember one time, I don't know why this came about, but it could have been intuitive. I'm not sure. But I remember I was doing a workout one time, a pretty hard workout. And during the middle of the workout, I was thinking about donuts. And I remember sharing this with our group. I'm like, does anybody else think of food like randomly and just pops in your mind when you're exercising? So I don't know if I was just like needed more carbs in the moment or if I was just needing to relax because the workout was hard. So I was craving donuts. I don't know, but I thought it was really interesting. But it was very specific and it came on suddenly. I didn't end up eating them. I just thought it was interesting. So anyway, I decided to share that story with you. Okay, so Chrissy says, for the most part, I can tell the difference. But when I'm stressed, it gets harder. Isn't that true? Which should be my cue. That's true, right? So that's great. Thanks for sharing that, Chrissy. So for a lot of us, it isn't that hard to tell the difference. But when you're in the middle of the stress or the anxiety or the depression or boredom, it's hard to tell, right? So the best thing to do is check in with your body and see if you're physically hungry. But it's good to know, like she said, um, the feeling that she has. She's feeling stressed. So she knows that's her cue, right? To not eat, but to go for something that will actually help her emotionally. All right. Let's look at the emotional eating cycle. So this is how it happens. So emotional eating cycle. Something happens that upsets you. You can see that up here. It's kind of blurry. Something happens that upsets you. You feel an overwhelming urge to eat. So the emotions, right? And then you want to eat. It's overwhelming. You eat more than you know you should. And usually when that happens, it's because people, when we're emotional eating, we eat quickly. We don't eat slowly, right? We eat quickly just to kind of numb the feeling. And then sometimes feeling guilty or powerless over food. So that would happen, right? So when it's these emotions really that are the key. So if you're feeling strong emotions, then you want to grab some food and then you feel guilty and powerless over food. And because of this strong feeling again of feeling guilty and powerless over food, then that's the thing that upsets you and triggers the cycle, right? All right, I'm gonna show you how to get out of this in just a bit. So the diet cycle, this is similar but different. So the diet cycle is something to be aware of as well. And I'm gonna teach you how to get out of both the diet cycle and the emotional eating cycle. And the diet cycle actually has some similarities to the emotional eating cycle. So let me show you this. All right, so this is what happens. So step one, somebody starts, or you start a new diet. Step two, you feel deprived because of the new diet. So this feeling of deprivation is actually physical, like physiological and emotional. So those are two strong powerhouses that you don't want to have happening together, right? And then you experience intense food cravings and an urge to eat, right? So intense emotional and physical, physiological, intense food cravings and urge to eat. Then when this happens, then you decide and you end up eating and break the diet and binge and overeat. And then have a feeling of feeling out of control and guilty. Uh, and then want to regain control and then start a new diet. So remember at the beginning, I talked about wanting control. That's where this whole cycle is happening. These strong feelings of control, feeling guilty, feeling ashamed, all that stuff, those strong feelings which keeps this cycle going, right? But if you are able to, when you're feeling guilty and out of control, know what to do with this, instead of wanting to regain control, what if you just surrendered to the food, establish your relationship with food, and create a more peaceful relationship with food that won't trigger this desire to regain control, right? So starting a diets themselves assume that we don't know what we're doing when it comes to eating food, right? So because of that assumption, it already gives us that mindset that we need to be in control because we're out of control. So all of these strong emotions that come with dieting and the concept of it is what actually leads to a diet binge cycle. So does this make sense to you? Comment yes or no in the chat box. Does this make sense? Because I know that this can be complicated, but it's so true. I'm sure you can see the connection, right, between the diet cycle and the binge cycle. Very interesting. This is the stuff that I love. I love knowing why this all happens and how to dig in a little bit deeper. So thanks, ladies. Yeah, so I'm glad you can understand this. Okay, so mindful eating. All right, let's do this. So we're going to dive into mindful eating. What is mindful eating? So mindful eating is actually a way for you to get out of the binge cycle or diet cycle. So mindful eating, I'm sure some of you may have heard of this, some of you may have not. Mindful eating is a technique you can use to regain control or be at peace over your eating habits. It allows you to pay attention to your body's signals so you can stop eating when you're full. So cool. I love how that's so novel. Your body actually sends its satiation signal about 20 minutes after you begin eating to the brain, right? So your stomach is a certain fullness and takes about 20 minutes for your stomach to send that to your brain, which is why we often unconsciously overeat. So if you're eating quickly and by the time you are done, 20 minutes isn't up yet, and later on you're feeling, oh my goodness, what just happened? You just feel all of a sudden super full. But if you slow down, you can give your body a chance to catch up to your brain, your stomach to catch up to your brain, and hear the signals accurately to eat the right amount. Cool, huh? Okay. So mindful eating is making eating intentional instead of automatic, doing it on purpose, being purposeful. It's being in the moment. It's being just you and the food. So you're gonna experience this firsthand when we do this mindful eating exercise. So mindful eating is eating slowly with no distractions. It's eating until you're full and you're experiencing physical hunger cues. It's eating to maintain your health as fuel. So eating only until you're full by paying attention to physical hunger cues is what I meant. So the best way to eat mindfully is to eliminate distractions, turn off the TV, and don't use your cell phone or tablet while eating. Choose foods that are known to nourish your body, and you will have more satisfaction with what you ate, right? Could you only imagine like eating slowly without distractions? I know as a mom, it's hard because I'm always busy doing something and having, running my business and homeschooling and all the amazing things I have to do. And standing and eating is probably what I do more often, but I have to stop myself to sit and remind myself to be uh, more, what's the word? Not intuitive, but mindful of stopping to sit and eat. All right, so let's talk about our mindful eating exercise. Okay, so if you have your little snack in front of you, this is where we're going to use this little snack, whether it's a little piece of cracker, piece of chocolate, or a raisin. We're going to do a mindful eating exercise. So go ahead and grab that out right now. So let me know if you have your snack ready. Okay, you ready, Belinda? Anybody else ready with their snack? Okay, Chrissy, you're ready? Who else is there? Jill or Jeanette? Are you ladies ready? All right, awesome. Okay, let's do this. Okay, all right. So just hold your snack in your hand for right now. And I'm going to read through this mindful eating exercise and you'll know exactly what to do with your snack as we go. All right. So this particular mindful eating exercise is an experience of mindful eating with a lady named Linda Smith from Duke Integrative Medicine. All right. So first, what you're going to do is you're going to take the food and hold it between your pointer finger and your thumb. Got it? Okay, bring your attention to it. If it's a raisin or whatever you have, cracker or chocolate, look at it as if it were a novel item, imagining that you have never seen one before in your life. Take time to observe the raisin carefully, or whatever food you have. Really see it, gaze at it with care and full attention. Let your eyes explore every part of it, noticing its shape, its color, and the surfaces. Examine if there's any grooves, maybe where the light shines and there's shadows created around it. So I'm just picturing you all doing this right now. This is cool. Rotate and move the food between your fingers. Continue to explore its texture. Apply a small bit of pressure to notice whether it is soft or hard. You might close your eyes if that helps you to focus and enhance your sense of touch. Recognizing that this is a raisin, or whatever food you have, note any thoughts you might have about the food, any memories about it, or feelings of liking or disliking it. Hold the food under your nose and inhale naturally. With each breath, notice any aroma or smell that arises. Bring awareness only to any effect in your mouth or stomach. Now, bring the food slowly up to your mouth, noticing how your hand and arm know exactly how and where to position it. I think that's so cool. We don't think about that enough. Being aware of it, are you salivating as the mind and body anticipate eating? Place the food gently in your mouth. without chewing it yet. Hold it in your mouth for at least 10 seconds, exploring it with your tongue, feeling the sensations of having it there. Notice this pause and how it feels to take some time before eating your food. When you're ready, prepare to chew it. Take 1 or 2 bites into it and notice what happens. Bring your full attention to its taste and texture as you continue chewing. Take time to chew without swallowing, noticing the taste and texture of the food in your mouth and how it may change over time. When you feel ready to swallow, bring awareness to the sensation so that even this is experienced consciously. Lastly, notice what is left of the food as you swallow and it travels down your stomach to your stomach. Notice how your body as a whole is feeling after completing this exercise. All right, here's a few questions for you. You can comment in the chat box with whatever answers you'd like. All right, question number 1. How was this experience the same or different from how you normally eat? So how was this the same or different from how you normally eat? What, if anything, surprised you about this experience? What, if anything, surprised you about this experience? What did you notice with the food in terms of sight, touch, sound, smell, and taste? What thoughts or memories popped up while you were doing this exercise? What is one tip for yourself that you're going to take from this experience to apply to your eating habits in the future? All right, so go ahead and comment to any of those questions. Any thoughts or memories that popped up? What did you notice about the texture, the color, the sound, the smell, the taste? And did anything surprise you about this experience? All right, thank you for sharing, ladies. So Jeanette says it was very different from normal and much slower, right? Yeah, of course, yeah. And Belinda says, I was more aware of what was going on in my mouth. Oh, what was going in my mouth watered. So true, huh? Jeanette says it was like tasting a pecan for the very first time. That's awesome. It probably tasted so good. Um, let's see, I enjoyed eating it. I think that's what you're saying, right, Belinda? Rating it and eating it. That's what you're saying. So yeah, isn't that cool? So I don't expect you all to eat like this every time you take a bite of food, but it's really getting you to become more aware and mindful of the food that you're eating. So when you are eating a meal, you can just take time to kind of check in with yourself once in a while. And as you're chewing the food, instead of just chewing and swallowing, actually experiencing the food in a different level. So awesome. Nice work, ladies. Thanks for sharing. And Jeanette said, I need to slow down and enjoy my food more often. Amen. Me too. And it's really nice, especially when it's a special treat, like a special treat food. Really eat it mindfully and treat it as something special. You'll be even more satisfied with it. Yeah, Belinda, love it. Okay, let's move on. Time is moving fast. So we have about 6 o'clock right now, which is fine. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so mindful eating, let me teach you how to do this. So with mindful eating, one of the keys is to plan meals ahead of time so you have a go-to system to rely on when you're hungry, right? So planning is key as you're learning and avoiding getting too hungry by always having food with you. I always tell my clients, my challengers, my friends, my family to always have food with you in your car, maybe in your purse or in your car for an emergency snack. Usually I like to recommend having a dry, shelf-stable snack that you can pack in your purse or have, like I said, in your car for when a meal isn't available, but you end up hungry, right? So there's actually a section of a program called the Well Within Lifestyle Academy. I know some of you ladies are doing it. So I have a section in there where I teach you an entire chapter on how to meal plan and how to make it doable and sustainable. I'm a really big believer in planning in advance to ensure success. All right, so the other thing too with mindful eating is in mindful eating, you learn to cope with guilt and anxiety about food. So, a good way to start is to ask yourself why you're eating, whether you're hungry or not. Why am I eating? Right? It's a good idea to write your feelings in a journal at that moment so you can examine them later. Right? So, knowing your feelings in advance is always helpful. The key is to look for behavioral patterns to break the cycle and use those to create new ones. Cool, huh? So practical. All right, what is mindful eating? So the thing is, it's key. Like I said, it's key to keep it simple in the beginning. So in order to start living out a lifestyle of mindful eating, I like to recommend, maybe just starting out with one meal a day, maybe starting out with breakfast, and then moving and eating that mindfully for a regular, period of time, maybe like a week or two. And then once you feel more comfortable with that, then move on to adding in another meal, maybe a lunchtime. You're going to plan to eat that mindfully, or dinner, eat that mindfully, or even dessert or a special treat. So it'll help to start out slowly and keep it simple. Give yourself grace. All right, so hunger and fullness scale. I think some of you have seen this before, but maybe you haven't. So let me just show you how the hunger and fullness scale helps also with mindful eating. And actually, it helps with weight control too, which is really incredible. This is actually how I help a lot of clients in my practice, in my groups, to manage their weight just by listening to their bodies and being mindful. So at 2 here, so 2 and 3 are green, right? And you see 5 and 6 are red. So 2 and 3 means green means go, like start eating at this point, and 5 and 6 red means stop. Okay, so let me describe this real quick. So the one end of the scale, 0, is starving. The other end is stuffed or painfully full. Everything else in between, obviously, is in between. From 0 up until 4 are different levels of hunger, right? So this is starving, this is hungry, this is less hungry, this is more hungry. A 5 is right in the middle, neutral. You're not really hungry or full, you're just satisfied, you're neutral. A 6 is where you have eaten a little bit more past neutral, but you're not stuffed, you just feel satisfied, you feel good. 7, so from 6 to 10 is a feeling of fullness. So 6 is a little full, 7 is uncomfortable, 8 is more uncomfortable, 9 is very uncomfortable, and 10 is stuffed, right? So this is a good way you can use numbers to identify your physical feelings of hunger and fullness. So when you detect physical signs of hunger between like a 2 and 3, choose foods that will satisfy what you want, balanced by what your body actually needs, what feels good in your body. Eat slowly, enjoying the smell, texture, and taste. Stop when you feel uncomfortable. Stop when you feel comfortable between like a 5 and a 6. The cool thing is that knowing that you will eat again when you're hungry again, right? So a lot of times we think, oh, we should keep eating because I won't have this food again. But if you're having a really tasty meal and you have trouble stop eating it, just know that when you get hungry again, you can have it again, right? And then choose foods that will satisfy your needs. So be patient, caring, and compassionate as you learn. It's a whole new process. Mindful eating is a practice, not a destination. And enjoy feeling better about your food and your body, and you will feel better. And truly, when you begin eating when you're satisfied and stop eating when you're full, you actually maintain or lose weight. You will lose weight, especially if you're somebody who's an emotional eater. If you're learning how to take care of emotions with emotional treatment or help and not use food, you're going to be eating less calories overall. And you're going to be less stressed too, so your body will tend to lose weight and your hormones will be in better balance. So eating when you're hungry and stopping when you're satisfied is actually the number one key to managing weight or losing weight if you're a emotional eater. So that might be very helpful for you too. All right. Let's move. Okay, so to set an intention in advance, and like I said, I'm really big on setting an intention in advance. So here's some solutions for overcoming emotional and binge eating. So, like I said, setting an intention in advance, knowing what your ideal food day would look like, and set an intention for that day, for the month, or for your year, for your lifetime. What do you want your relationship with food to look like ultimately? And then what type of wellness lifestyle do you want to lead? So kind of envision what you want for yourself. When you set an intention in advance, it ensures your success much more than going with the flow and with whatever life brings you from moment to moment. You want to learn how, of course, like I said, learn how to cope with emotions in productive ways instead, right? So let's answer these questions for a minute. So in the chat box, if you feel comfortable, um, share with the group what what you want your relationship with food to look like, and what type of wellness lifestyle do you want to lead ultimately for your wellness. So, what do you want your relationship with food to look like, and what type of lifestyle do you want to lead? So if you take a moment to share, let me know. I know for me, in the past when I was struggling with my relationship with food, I just really wanted peace with food. I didn't want to feel like I was always thinking about food, afraid of what I just ate, or feeling guilty about what I just ate, or feeling hungry and not knowing what to eat because I was afraid I was going to get fat. Like all of this stress and thinking about food probably like 98% of the day, I just didn't want that anymore. I just wanted to have peace with food. Um, and I just wanted to be a normal eater again. And I was able to establish that in my life, which is so cool. So Belinda says, I want to eat more healthy food and less calories. Right. So less concentrated foods. The way you can do that is by using the hunger scale, and also in eating intuitively. So eating intuitively basically means eating foods that feel good in your body more often, right? And then also eating when you're hungry and stopping when you're satisfied. Chrissy says, I would like to be more comfortable with food. I totally get that. I want to be less stressed about eating and what I eat. And I would like to be a normal eater and lose weight. Ooh, love it. Amen. You're on the right path. I'm so excited for you, Chrissy. Let's do this. So yeah, that's exactly what I felt. I'm feeling that. And I'm living on the other side of it. So I'm super excited to help you in this process. Awesome. All right. So, some more solutions for overcoming emotional and binge eating. So, of course, exercise, right? Regular exercise, walking, running, yoga, HIIT training, strength training, whatever, hula hooping, bike riding, swimming, roller skating, dancing, uh, whatever it is that happens to be for you, do it. Absolutely do the thing that you love. That's why I named some random things. I love roller skating and I like hula hooping and I like um, doing high intensity interval training. I love strength training. I love movement and I love yoga. All those things are awesome. Um, and it's interesting because physical activity actually sends positive signals to your brain that will reduce your desire to eat. Isn't that awesome? So cool. So regular exercise is huge, right? So if you're feeling stressed or anxious or bored or lonely or tired, start moving your body and it'll help to relieve those emotional problems you're feeling, right? So when you're feeling overwhelmed, go and run. Do a bunch of push-ups in a row so that you feel that release. Punch something, not somebody, maybe a pillow or your bed or something soft to just kind of release that energy. Regular exercise is so important when it comes to managing emotions the right and healthy way. Okay, so Jeanette says, I don't want to overthink all of my food choices anymore. Yes, oh my gosh, so freeing, totally. And Belinda says, I love to walk. Yes, 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 I love to walk too. I know we're in cooler weather out here in Idaho, but treadmills are great. I guess even just bundling up and getting outside, just being outside and feeling like cool air or just the air on your skin and breathing it just feels so refreshing. Okay. So some more solutions for overcoming emotional and binge eating. So keeping healthy foods and snacks on hand is super important. Don't go to the grocery shop. Don't go grocery shopping when you're feeling upset or stressed or strong emotions, right? Because what happens? We end up buying binge type foods, right? Sugary, carby foods that we need, that we feel like we need in that moment. And of course, watch your portion sizes. That's where it comes into the mindful eating and the hunger scale. So portion sizes is based on your hunger and satisfaction. So making sure not to wait till you're too hungry to eat, because that'll just lead to overeating. And just listening to your body, portion out a certain amount of food on your plate, and then begin eating. And then if you finish the food on your plate and you're still a little bit hungry, grab a little bit more. No big deal. Restricting calories too much actually leads to weight gain. So just being smart about it and listening to your body, let your body take the lead. If you have any struggles with losing weight, even though you're eating mindfully and intuitively, it could be that you may be lacking exercise or strength training, specifically strength training, or maybe struggling with some hormonal imbalance. And if you need more help with that, you can go to my website. It's wellwithinnutrition.com. I'll put it in the chat here. Wellwithinnutrition.com, and I have a little free guide in there to, let me write this in here, to balancing hormones and weight loss. So let me put this in. Yeah, so you can find me there. And my guide is on the top of the page there. So if you need help with hormone balance, go for that. You can find that guide on top of my website. All right. So another thing you can do to help with emotional eating is keep healthy food and snacks on hand, right? So if you get enough nutrients in your meals, and if you get rid of the unhealthy food you usually consume when you're not feeling good emotionally, you'll be less likely to be triggered to eat those unhealthy foods or less healthy foods. So typically when somebody's wanting to binge or emotionally eat, it's typically on carby foods, whether it's salty and crunchy or sweet and creamy or bready, because those types of foods actually do cause a feeling of relaxation, because it does alter your brain chemistry. Like I said, food is a drug. So you want to make sure that you have healthy snacks on hand and not triggering foods on hand. And if you do, go out and go for a walk or get some fresh air, get away from your environment where the triggering food can be. You can also save some for later, knowing that you'll be hungry again, which I mentioned already. I know it's not always easy to do, but with some practice, it's totally doable. And you feel so good when you make that decision. The next day, when you get up in the morning, knowing that you didn't overeat and you saved it for later, feels so good. I don't know if you guys have done that before, but I know sometimes I'll opt out of a sweet treat because I know I really don't need it. And then next morning, I'm like, wow, I didn't eat that last night. I feel so good this morning. So enjoy your favorite foods and don't settle. This is a big one for me. I tell my clients this all the time. So if you're going to have a special treat, don't settle for whatever happens to be in front of you. Like if you want a sweet treat, if somebody brought donuts to church or to the office or home, or cookies or whatever it might be, don't just grab that. Don't settle. Get something that you really absolutely love and dream of. So in the chat box, share with me some of your I'd say your top favorite treat. If you could have anything, what would that top favorite treat be? So share within the chat box your top favorite treat, and let's see what you got. So for me, my top favorite treat is called an affogato. An affogato, if you've heard of it before, is actually some ice cream with with a shot of espresso over it. And it is my favorite. So if I'm doing a cleanse with my group or just taking out sugar for a period of time and I want to break it, I don't settle. I go for exactly what I want and I wait for my affogato. And I feel really good. So Chrissy says, tiramisu. Ooh, I love tiramisu. Awesome. And okay, Belinda, she has it private, but yeah, so there's certain things. So chocolate. Belinda, did you mean yours to be private? Your comment? I don't want to share it if it's supposed to be private. Just let me know, yes or no. And then, yeah, Jeanette says chocolate. Any type of chocolate, Jeanette? Any particular type of chocolate that you love? Oh, okay. So it's not private. Okay, so Belinda, She says green tea frappuccino. Yum. Jill says ice cream, salted dark chocolate, or salted caramel. Oh my gosh, that's so good. We're all going to be hungry before we get out of here. So yeah, something about that salty and sweet combo and the fat combo is amazing. Yeah, ice cream. So any particular type of chocolate, Jeanette? Let's see. Oh, no specific type. Cool. And I'm a dark chocolate lover, so I'm kind of a snob when it comes to dark chocolate or chocolate. I won't eat regular chocolate because it's not nearly as good. I only go for the good stuff, like 85% or above chocolate. So anyway, all chocolate. Cool. All right. So let's see here. Jill, yeah, good dark chocolate. Yeah, I'm totally in agreement with you. All right, solutions for emotional eating. We'll get off topic now. Meditation, another great thing you can do is meditation. I'm a big believer in just deep breathing, relaxing, resetting. At the beginning of this group, we started out with this webinar. We started out with some deep breathing through your nose, or even alternate nostril breathing, which is so cool. This is one of those things you can do anytime, anywhere. I usually like to recommend doing it, when waking up in the morning and before going to bed at night. All you need is to sit in a quiet space. You can even look up videos online for simple meditation techniques. All you need is about 5 minutes to get a refresher and to retrain your brain so that when you are feeling stressed or angry and that kind of those strong emotions come up, if you've been practicing meditation regularly, you'll be training your brain to respond more appropriately to stresses in your life, or yeah, I guess maybe more equally. So maybe if you're feeling something happened in your life and you're really amped up with stress, but it's not really necessary to be that stressed about that event, then when you're practicing meditation regularly, you'll have a more accurate response to what's happening in your life. So simple deep breathing through your nose or alternating nostril breathing. It's just so great for retraining your brain. So if you want any tips on that, let me know. And I can, in the comment section, give you some resources for that. Actually, one of my favorite ones is thechristianmeditator.com, thechristianmeditator.com. She's awesome. She actually created a custom meditation for my Well Within Lifestyle Academy, specific for my group, which is incredible. She's such a great resource. The other thing, I know there's apps out there that you can use for meditation. I know, for example, YouTube has lots of videos. You just look up mindfulness meditation. You'll find some great ones. So yeah, so meditation is great. Do any of you guys practice meditation or deep breathing to kind of relax and calm? You can let me know in the chat. I know for me, it's been super healing and instrumental in calming my brain when it's super busy. Okay. All right, so let's go on. Yeah, I know meditation's so nice, Belinda. We love it. Okay, so solutions for emotional eating. So focusing on color as far as nutrition goes, you want to focus on colorful foods, fill your plate with plant foods, and use others as sides, right? So just lots of plants are super healthy. Nobody ever got sick or some kind of a disease from eating too many plant foods, right? So it's always a good idea to eat more plant foods and use the other foods like meats, I guess, as a side dish. So it's also great for seasonal wellness because the more nutrients you have on board from healthy, colorful foods, the stronger your immune system will be. Right? Makes sense. Christy says, I do deep breathing when I start to get super anxious. Does it help, Chrissy? Do you feel like the deep breathing helps? I hope it does. I know it does for me. Let us know. Yeah, awesome. Yay, it helps. I love it. I know it's amazing what deep breathing can do. It just kind of totally calms your body down. Okay, another thing you can do is avoid getting too hungry, right? So if you're too hungry, it's easy to overeat. But if you can avoid it, you'll be able to make more logical, practical, and rational decisions when it comes to food. For example, like going to the grocery store when you're not too hungry, when you look at a menu and you're not too hungry, when you're making food or grabbing a snack at home and you're not too hungry, it's easier to make more mindful choices with your food. But when you are too hungry, you just kind of grab whatever you see. And usually it's something sweet or carby, because our bodies, when we're too hungry, we crave carbohydrates first. because it's the quickest source of energy since it metabolizes and absorbs in our mouths. Protein and fats do not absorb in our mouths, only carbohydrates do. So when we're too hungry, naturally our bodies want carbs for quick energy. So yeah, just so you know. So above all else, listen to your body. Listen to what's going on. Check in. See what's going on. Are you hungry? Are you full? Are you needing some emotional comfort? Are you stressed? Are you lonely? Are you angry? What's going on? So you want to be intuitive. If you eat something and don't feel well eating it, avoid it, right? I know sometimes it tastes so good and it's worth the pain later. I know other people who have done that before. There's certain foods you're like, whatever, somebody's, gluten intolerant or lactose intolerant. They're like, whatever, this is so good right now. I'm totally okay with the pain for the pleasure it's going to give me right now. But if you're going to do that, make it infrequent. So sugars and stress are both toxins and can bring in festering illnesses. So just want to make sure that you're aware of that. So sugar and stress are toxins that can bring in festering illnesses. All right, a couple more solutions. So plan your meals 24 hours in advance. Know what you're going to eat in advance. Check in with your body before each meal to confirm that you're physically hungry. You can even look at the hunger scale and give yourself a number on the hunger scale to see how hungry you are. And if you're not hungry, wait until hunger comes. Right? Sometimes too, you maybe have a meeting to go to or an appointment or something, and you're not quite hungry yet, but you know that halfway through the meeting, you're going to be hungry. So it's okay to eat. They call it eating for hunger to come. So if you eat a little bit before you head into a meeting or a class or exercise or appointment or whatever, it's okay to have a snack to bring or to eat before you go, just to kind of stave off the hunger while you're in your meeting or appointment. All right, halt. These are the most common emotions that people feel when they emotionally eat or binge eat. So this is going to give you a little bit of a tutorial, I guess you would say, or a quick and easy way to know if you are binge or emotional eating. Okay, so if you are too hungry, if you're too angry, if you're too lonely, or if you're too tired, I like to add in too stressed, and too overwhelmed, right? So if you're too hungry, too angry, too lonely, too tired, too stressed or overwhelmed, those are the top emotions that someone would feel to trigger them to begin emotional or binge eating. So can any of you relate to these? Do these seem about right? Too hungry, too angry, too lonely, too tired, too stressed or overwhelmed? Are those feelings that you may experience when eating when you're not hungry? So let me know in the chat box. I know for me, I'm actually probably too hungry. I'm trying to think for myself. Because I have gone through recovery with my relationship with food, I honestly don't really eat when I'm not hungry. Usually, I'm pretty aware of that. So I don't know if I used to though, when I was too hungry. That was a big trigger for me. If I wasn't eating enough, I would binge if I was too hungry. Or if I was angry, that was another one too. So Jeanette says, yes, mostly when I'm overwhelmed or angry. I know, I totally get it. Yeah, so Belinda can relate. Belinda says mostly when I'm stressed. Yeah, that happens, right? So you know that. So this is actually an opportunity right now. You're telling me and identifying emotions that you have that you can know are triggers. You know that now in advance. So when you're feeling stressed, think of what you can do with the stress instead of eat to release it. Maybe call a friend, spend some time in prayer, go for a walk, read, meditate, take a warm bath or hot shower. Think of things that you can do. Actually helps too is organizing. So organizing actually switches out, it goes to a different part in your brain, and it helps to get out of that emotion-centered part of your brain and more into the organizational part of your brain. And then when you start organizing like your purse or a drawer or a closet or whatever, your car, whatever it happens to be, it actually helps you to get out of those strong emotions temporarily. So that's another tactic you can use too. Okay, so I did share with you a little bit. Um, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, sorry. Belinda says about organizing her kitchen cubbies, and it's so cool because not only are you, using it as a distraction, but you actually end up with a more organized and neat space, which is pretty cool. So it's a win-win. Okay, so clients who, Jill says, I clean when stressed. Yeah, and me too. Isn't that funny? I think I get overwhelmed with the things that are around me, so I start picking things up and cleaning up, and it actually does help. So probably helps you too, Jill, I'm assuming. All right, so clients whose lives okay, so I was going to share with you some of the clients whose lives changed after discovering and treating emotional eating. So I can't use their names because of privacy, but we'll call them Katie and Sandy. So Katie and Sandy used to be clients in my private practice. Well, actually, one of them was a client, and one actually is in my Well Within Lifestyle Academy program. And Katie, for example, she would come to my office and she was overweight and she was struggling with emotional eating because of past trauma in her life. And I was really helping her through identifying the emotions that trigger her binge eating or emotional eating. She actually was diagnosed with binge eating disorder. So it was binge eating for her. Um, and just giving her incentives, having her exercise, all of the tactics I'm giving you were so incredibly instrumental in and it's not just knowing what to do, but it's doing it, putting it into practice. You have to know why you want to make change. If you don't really know why you want to make change isn't going to happen, right? You just think you might know, or maybe your why is like, oh, I just want to lose some weight. But that usually just losing weight isn't a strong enough why to keep you going for the long haul. But for her is because she just couldn't handle it anymore. She just didn't want to live this way. She was trapped by food and her relationship with food and wanted to get out of it. So for her, that was a huge motivator. And I walked with her through her recovery for at least a year or two, and it's just so cool to see her over time, just really gaining a lot of traction with healing with her relationship with food, ending some of those binges, and stopping herself before binging. She just felt so power empowered and successful, and she started to lose weight and feeling better. And of course, sometimes she would backslide. She had moments where she would lose her groove and just kind of get back into her old ways. But I was able to quickly help her get back in and get back on track. So the thing is, when you're making progress and making change, it's actually a natural part of the process to backslide a little bit. And that's totally okay. Be gracious with yourself and know that that's part of the process and that you can move beyond that. Just learning from it, using it as a learning experience, and just getting back into um, what you had learned for new behavioral patterns and alternative routines. So just know that. And then with Sandy, my other client, who's actually in my Well Within Lifestyle Academy, um, she had been struggling with her weight for years. She was more of a chronic dieter and never was really able to lose weight long term. She'd lose the weight for a special event like a wedding or a reunion or what have you, and then she would end up gaining it back, or even just wanting her husband wanting her to lose weight, she would lose the weight and then gain it back. And then as she was going through the academy, she started to learn the emotions that were keeping her from moving forward and the things she was saying to herself that were creating self-sabotage. And she would try to lose the weight and then just would totally self-sabotage and throw in the towel. So it was neat to see her walk through the program, and she actually was seeing a therapist as well, walk through the program, meet with her therapist, and just really start to identify those emotions that she was feeling and know what to do with them instead of using them, using food to comfort herself. So that was really fun to watch. And she's still actually walking through the process right now, and I can't wait to see the outcome for her. All right, so let me just kind of do a review real quick here. So it's already 6:30. Sorry about that, ladies. 5 keys to long haul wellness. So the first one is knowing your why, knowing exactly why you want to make change and why it's important to you. Like I said, if it's just for weight loss, it's usually not a strong enough thing because it won't last. You want to have a why that is lasting. So one of the things, as an example of a why, is like when you get in the car and you put on your seatbelt automatically, right? So that's like a automatic behavior, or brushing your teeth in the morning or at night or whenever you do it, and showering, things like that. Think about those activities that you do regularly and think about why you do it. So that's how you know what a strong why is. And usually it's because of a social consequence. If you don't brush your teeth, your breath will stink. If you don't shower, you will stink. You'll just feel gross. Putting on your seatbelt, why do you do it? Right? So why is it you do what you do? And why would you want to make long-term behavior change? What is the consequence if you don't do it? So understanding your why is key to long-term wellness. Um, Check your mindset and your self-talk. How do you talk to yourself? Are you a critic or are you a coach? If you're more critical of yourself, or maybe you're listening to, old tapes of what somebody in your life, maybe your parent, mom or dad or spouse or whoever told you, um, and you're being more critical of yourself, it's going to be really hard to move forward in behavior change. You need to know who you want to be. If you are wanting to make change in your life as far as your wellness goes, set up in your mind who it is that you want to be and know who she is, what she looks like, what she does daily, how she eats, how her relationship with food is, how her relationship with others are, her level of self-confidence, how does she exercise, how does she approach the world, things like that. So knowing who you want to be and outlining that and identifying that is super critical. And then once you identify that, hold your vision and live it out. So even though you may not be who you already are, if you're not that person yet, once you start have that vision, live out who she is and how she acts every day, and you will become that person. So cool. The power of our mind and our thoughts are so amazing. It can really, really help you, and it can really, really hinder you. So also you want to engage in intuitive and mindful eating. So intuitive eating is listening to your body for what types of foods feel good to you. And mindful eating is knowing when and how much to eat. So how much, like we talked about before. So mindful eating is a hunger scale. Am I hungry? Yeah, okay, I'll eat. Okay, check in with yourself when you're eating. Okay, and stop when you're eating. Check in and stop eating when you're satisfied. And intuitive eating is more based on what type of food feels good in my body and listening to your body. Okay. So, do any of you have a vision for yourself? What is that you want to do? Who do you want to be? What does she look like? So, type in the chat box, who is it that you want to be and why? Why do you want to be this person? The best version, ultimately, I know it's kind of cliche, but it's truly the best version of you that you can be, right? So mindset is so huge, so huge. Without that, long-term change cannot happen. And I've learned this in so many ways um, in my own recovery and helping clients over the past years, and knowing that the thing is, like with traditional diet programs, they don't address these mindset issues or self-talk issues or holding a vision for yourself. All of these psychological and emotional and behavioral things are absolutely key to making long-term change. If a program that you're doing does not include these things, it's not going to last. So I just know this from personal experience, from working with clients for 20 years and watching them come into my practice because they've been defeated by the latest diet. So just sharing my truth. So Belinda, I'm going to be a healthier woman. Of course you are. Jill, my family's eating. Oh, gotta run. Bye, Jill. Okay, so she wants to model healthy eating for your family. You go, girl. You do that, and they totally will follow. So thanks, Jill. If you want the replay, I can email that to you. Okay, recap. Okay, so some people use food to fill an emotional void and deal with stress in their life. This can lead to other problems such as weight gain and other health-related issues. It's important to recognize you are eating due to your emotions or you are physically hungry, right? So you know that physical hunger. Um, so the truth about emotional eating is everyone can incorporate this and mindful eating into their life. Even if you don't suffer from emotional eating, it's important to think of food as fuel rather than an escape, no matter where you're at. So I told you a little bit about how doing these things has changed my life and regained control of my eating habits. So because I struggled with an eating disorder when I was in my teens and early 20s, was anorexic, bulimic, and had an exercise addiction because of the anxiety I had in my life and the inability to express my emotions appropriately. But going through my own recovery program, going through lots of higher education to learn about nutrition and behavior, um, my life has completely changed. I have complete peace with food. I enjoy food. I love movement. I love exercise. And I love teaching you all how to do this and how to get out of the way of yourself and the emotions that cause any non-hunger eating. So that's me. I'm living a life of freedom when it comes to food and absolutely love movement. So it's a great combination. Okay, so think about how your life can change for the better, just like mine did. And if you want to learn more about how to make this part of your life, I would like to invite you to register for my course, or you can meet with me one-on-one. I have a private practice. I can, if you're not in my area, I'm in North Idaho. If you're not in my area, we can meet via Zoom call. I've been doing that regularly with my California clients. Or if you're in the area, I'm happy to meet with you at your home or somewhere in person or on Zoom. It doesn't matter. But I do have these opportunities if you want to learn how to do this in your life, how to make this more part of your lifestyle for you personally. I have these two opportunities. You can either register for my online course, the Well Within Lifestyle Academy, or you can meet with me one-on-one. I'm happy to help you with that. And of course, you can use the great information I shared with you today to help regain control and peace over your eating habits and begin to use food as fuel and learn how to live without dieting. Such freedom. Yay. I hope you learned a lot from this class today. If you learned a lot, comment in the comment section. I learned a lot and I'm excited about what I learned. So let me know if you learned a lot today or just got a great refresher. So, if you want to move forward, like I said, you can get started on my online self-paced course or on one-on-one sessions with me where I take you into wellness and out of diets as a direct path to wellness and weight loss. And the thing is, I know that you can all research this online and piece it together and spend hours trying to figure it out for free with no real solution, which I've done with other things in my life. Or you can just join me. I've spent so many years doing the work for you already. I've lived it out. I've helped so many people, and I can give you the steps and the solution that you need without having to go down the wrong path and make mistakes. So anyway, what I'm doing is I'm inviting you to, if you'd like my help, my support, I'm inviting you to that if you need it. So it's called the Well Within Lifestyle Academy. It builds on the great information we talked about today, but it takes you to an even higher level with a personal plan that's just for you, which is so cool, right? This is general, but I'm just giving you some ideas in this class. But if you want to take it to the next level and allow me to guide you through it personally with you, I'm happy to do that, either in my academy or one-on-one sessions. So so the academy is a personalized plan designed to help you heal your relationship with food and body, allowing you to freely break through into the diet freedom and physique you desire. So without having to diet or do anything crazy, I can teach you how to live out the wellness lifestyle that you want. So I know a couple of you are in the academy, so let me know if your impression of it, if it's helping you, how it's working for you, and how it's changed your life. Just briefly, I know it's a lot, but if you would recommend it to anybody else who would like to try. All right. So in the academy, you learn how to leave diets behind and the diet cycle by identifying your common triggers and step into a lifetime of total wellness as your path to weight loss. I'll also teach you how to identify emotional roots and mental barriers that have kept you stuck and unable to achieve lifelong wellness. I also help you to break through into total body wellness, including mind, body, soul, and spirit. You'll learn how to end emotional eating and befriend food again by becoming a mindful and intuitive eater. So exciting. I love that part. I will teach you how to fall in love with fitness, truly enjoy food with no strings attached, and get excited about self-care so you can better care for others, right? So the better you take care of yourself, the more you can take care of others. So in the Well Within Lifestyle Academy, in this program, you will break free from diets and step into sustainable weight loss and wellness with me today. So I'm just going to give you a little overview of what's in the Academy. If you would like to know more about it, there's 3 modules exploring emotional behaviors and limiting mindset. There's a mindful and an intuitive eating education, in-depth research-based nutrition basics education, and a meal plan, which is super cool. Fitness and intuitive exercise education, how to create new habits and keep them. 2 30-day meal plans and recipes. So cool. People love this. 6 weeks of complete workout programs for all levels, whether you're a beginner all the way up to advanced. It'll challenge you either way. And it includes an online Facebook private community and support group with monthly Q&A workshop that I provide. So there's a lot of value here. And it's actually valued at $5,000, but I'm not going to charge you guys for that because it's super valuable, but I also want it to be doable and I want people to learn and grow from this. So it also includes a hormone balance guide and education. It includes my signature 10-day sugar detox program. It includes organic produce selection guide and my 21-day reset cleanse, which I know some of you have done. So there's tons of cool bonuses in here. It includes a quick start guide, a 6-week fitness program for all levels, a 30-day clean eating meal plan, recipes, and grocery list. So if some of you guys have met with me one-on-one, you know a lot of these things, but I've actually put it into an academy so you can do it on your own time. And it's actually a little bit less money than meeting with me one-on-one, to be totally honest. So this academy, I just added this bonus in. It also does include a 1-hour one-on-one nutrition session with me, whether it's via Zoom or in person. So when you purchase the academy, it also includes a session with me. So you can do the academy on your own time, or we can meet one-on-one for nutrition sessions. I'm happy to do it either way. So after completing the Well Within Lifestyle Academy, this is so cool, you'll be able to freely end emotional eating, fall in love with fitness and your physique. Isn't that cool? Could you imagine that? Fully enjoy balanced nutrition, fully enjoy it. Break through any weight loss barriers, challenge negative beliefs and thoughts, gaining instead confidence, something that I really needed at the time. I know a lot of my clients need, and I can teach you how to get to that place. This is one of the best things my clients say, that they feel free and light, removing the burden of guilt, shame, and fear around food and body. What can be better than that? It's just, if anything, having that is probably one of the most amazing things that you could have, is just feeling lighter, removing the burden of guilt, shame, and fear around food and body. Okay, so a couple testimonials. So this is my friend Dana. Some of you guys may know her. She's been in my challenge groups and also in my academy. She says, I enjoy every bit of the academy and all the other challenges I have done with Cynthia. The academy gave me a different mindset of looking at food, at things and food, really made me look deep within myself, body, mind, and soul. The tools you gain to use daily in your life and looking at food more mindfully and being aware of what your body needs, the meditating, prayer, journaling, setting goals for yourself. It was very therapeutic, and I still find myself going back through the modules. It gave me a sense of awareness of looking at food, exercise, and what's best for me is in a positive way. Cynthia is a blessing. Oh, thank you, Dana. Awesome. All right. So, and then this lady, Teresa, was in my test group, and she says, this program has been like nothing else I've experienced and has been such a different and unique approach to weight loss and healthy lifestyle. It has really made me dig deep and think about things I've not thought about before. Some of the journaling and thought exercises have definitely been challenging and has forced me to get introspective and pinpoint some areas in my life that I need to make changes in. While change is never easy, I'm comforted in the fact that my reasons to change are anchored and rooted in my why, which we go over a lot. This program is truly revolutionary and not like anything else out there. Thank you, Cynthia, for all your hard work and incredible heart and commitment to helping people discover their best life through living a healthy lifestyle in all areas of life. Teresa B. Woohoo! So Do any of you feel like this is something that you may need for you, or maybe even know somebody else in your life who can use this kind of a breakthrough um, for this? Whoop. Okay, so we're going to go to the pricing. So comment if you know of anybody who may be in need of this. Oh, you know what? Looks like I'm missing some messages here. All right, some people have to go. No biggie. Oh, yay, Jeanette. She needs a great refresher. Yay, you're welcome, Belinda. Thanks. I'm happy to be your mentor. Okay, sorry, I lost track of my messages here. Okay, so pricing. So if you know of anybody or yourself who really needs this, I kept the pricing to be, for the Academy, to be equivalent to other programs out there or a little bit less. I know like Weight Watchers and things like that are around this pricing. But you get this program for a lifetime and you get my personal coaching. So as a registered dietitian and fitness specialist, this is my profession. With other weight loss programs, they just may be trained in this area, but this is actually my professional training that I'm giving to you. So you can do it. You can either do it for $60.55 a month and participate in the Academy, get lifetime access to it, and you can go back to it whenever you need. $60.55 per month, and it would be consecutive monthly payments debited from your account. And this would be 9 monthly payments. And for this one, it would be a total of $545. Includes a 30-day money-back guarantee, which is cool. Or you can do my most popular option for my clients is to pay less. So you can get access to the Academy for $497 in one payment, and it's $48 off when you pay in full compared to paying monthly. And it's debited one time from your account. And this is the cool thing. So this Academy, I'm going to go back here. This Academy has a 30-day money-back guarantee. So I know this is all maybe new to you, some of you, maybe not. But if you're still not quite sure about it, I would say you can really get it for 30 days. Try it out, give it a test drive, do some of the modules, work through it, listen to the audios that I provide. And if you don't love it in 30 days, no big deal. I'm totally up for this. Just let me know that it wasn't working for you and you tried it out. You can give me a couple samples of the work you did, and I'm happy, no questions asked, to give you your money back. So if it doesn't work for you, no problem. But if it does, awesome. You can enjoy all the benefits of growing your wellness through this. So yeah. So you can get started now. So if you'd like to check it out or register, you can go to wellwithinnutrition.com. It's /WWLA. I'm going to get the link here for the Academy in our chat box here. Let's see if I can paste it. So if you would like to register or learn more about it, I'm going to put in the chat box right now the link for the Academy. In there, you're going to find the details of the Academy. You're going to find a place to register. You'll get all the info you need. Reach out to me. Ask me let me know if you have any questions. You can private message me on Facebook. And let me know if you'd like to get started with this. The group actually opens up, let me see my dates here. The group actually opens up tonight. So tonight is the first day you can register. And then tonight, January 12th, 2021. And it's going to close Friday, January 22nd, 2021. So in 10 days, the registration will close. So if you're interested, you can get started now, knowing you have a 30-day money-back guarantee. You can do that. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. Again, these are the payment options. I'm going to go through, just forward this because I know we're running out of time. Okay, so what should this is some of the Q&A. What should I do if I get triggered by something and overeat? So make sure to give yourself grace as you learn and know that every day is a new day. What is done, so there is no point in feeling bad about it. Journal about what caused you to overeat so you'll be able to identify similar triggers in the future, right? Remember we talked about that? Remember HALTS, HALTS, hungry, angry, lonely, tired, and stressed. So those are the common emotional triggers for emotional or binge eating. So pricing. All right, so I'm going to leave you with this. So I want to invite you, if you'd like to know more information. I know you got a lot of information today, but I'm here to help you if you need more um, individualized support and help. My yeah, so wellwithinnutrition.com /WWLA to join for $4.97 or for payments of $60.55. Again, if you know of anybody that could really benefit from this, just let me know. You can have them message me, or you can share this. I'm going to send you if you're watching this recording or you're watching this live, I'm going to send you all the recording of this. And if you feel like somebody can use this, you can forward it to them as well. So thank you all for listening today. I know I went over, but thank you. I hope to see you soon, and I appreciate your time. Bye. See you guys later. Uh, I think I'm still here. Yeah, my screen went away. I'm not sure what happened. Let me see. Oh, that's so strange. I hit a weird button. Anyway, thank you all for listening. I'll talk to you all soon. Take care. Bye.